Hey guys, in this video I want to go ahead and talk about graphing quadratic functions. En este video vamos a estar haciendo gráficas de los cuadráticos otra vez. Now, I'm going to go ahead and just show you how to graph it. I think the best way and the easiest way for you guys to do it is to use this to change it to vertex form, graphing form, and then go from there. Creo que el método más fácil es de cambiar esta a forma gráfica y después podemos resolver lo demás de ahí. So your teacher, your professor might ask you, to graph this, guys, and they might ask you to do it a different way, but I'm gonna do it this way just because the what you're gonna be doing is gonna be useful for algebra 2 and in the future, and we're gonna be completing the square. Okay, so we need these are the elements that we need. Okay, so we need Y-intercept, the X-intercept, and we need the vertex. Okay, entonces esto es lo que necesitamos, el intercepto del Y, de la X y la vértice. So when we go ahead and do this one, first thing I'm going to do this one, I'm going to rewrite it, okay? And actually, before that, we can actually do the Y-intercept. Antes que comencemos, podemos hacer donde intercepta la Y. So to find the Y-intercept, all we do is set X equal to 0. Ponemos la X que sea 0. Si esto es 0 y esto es 0, más 2 me va a dar 2. So if this is 0, 0 squared is 0, minus 4 times 0, that's going to give me 0, plus 2 is 2. Entonces lo que te da es 0 al cuadrado menos 4 por 0 más 2. So that's what you're doing. And what you're going to end up with is with 0, comma 2. So that's going to be right over here. Okay? And then you already have a point. So the next thing, because that's right away, that's very easy to do. Okay? But now I'm going to change this into vertex form. Okay? Voy a cambiar esto en forma de vértice, voy a completar el cuadrado. Entonces lo que voy a hacer, el 2 lo voy a mover. Okay? Le voy a agregar, and I'm going to add something here in the middle. Okay? I'm going to take half of negative 4, la mitad de negativo 4 is menos 2, negative 2. We're going to square it. Same thing you're going to add on the left, negative 2 squared. And then we can go ahead and do the math. Negative 2 squared is 4, negativo 4, negativo 2 al cuadrado is 4. Now this, go ahead, we can go ahead and factor. Now esto se puede factorizar ahora. Esto se convierte en x menos 2, x minus 2 squared, and then the plus 2. And then the last thing we have to do is take this guy to the right. Vamos a mandar el 4 al otro lado, se convierte en menos 4. Okay. Y me va a dar x menos 2 al cuadrado menos 2. And this is important because right off the bat now you can see what the vertex is. The vertex is going to be positive 2. It's the opposite, okay? Negative 2. Now, why is it the opposite? Well, in essence, what you're doing is you're changing this guy. You're setting it equal to 0. And you're solving it. So then x is equal to positive 2. Not for this guy on the outside. You just leave him the way it is, okay? So now that's important because now you know the vertex. 2, negative 2. 2, negative 2 is right here. That's your vertex, okay? Ese es el vértice. Negative 2. And that's a positive 2. Okay? And that's important. And then right here, you can go ahead and this is your line of symmetry, línea simétrica. And right away, because I have my Y-intercept on the left, I can pretty much graph it on the right. So if I know if it's 2 units from the left, then I have to go 2 units to the right here. But of course, your professor, he or she might ask you for the X-intercept. A lo mejor el profesor les va a preguntar por el intercepto de la X. So we already found the Y-intercept. We found the vertex. Now, how do we find the X-intercept? Well, the X-intercept, we set Y equal to 0. Entonces, vamos a tomar esto. We're going to take this guy. We're going to set that guy equal to 0. Okay, so I'm going to take X minus 2 squared minus 2, and I'm going to set that equal to 0 because this is equal to Y. So I'm going to set Y equal to 0. So now I'm going to solve it just like I do any algebra equation. I take the 2 to the other side. El 2 se va al otro lado. Becomes a positive. Okay, so how do you get rid of the square? You're going to take the square root. Vamos a tomar la raíz cuadrada. Okay, so now the square and the square root simplify out, and you end up with plus or minus the square root of 2. Now what do? Well, you just bring this guy to the right, so you end up with x is equal to 2 plus or minus square root of 2. Okay, so right here, when you connect it, here passes through there. Same thing over here. Okay, right there. So what happens? You're going to have two solutions, and they're going to be decimals. Okay, if you notice here, this is 1, 2, and then somewhere right here. So you're going to have two solutions. You're going to have x, 2 plus the square root of 2, and you're going to have x equals 2 minus the square root of 2. And that's okay because these are going to be decimals. Esto van a ser decimales. Okay? But those are the three things that you need to graph. The Y-intercept, you need the vertex, and you need the X-intercept. But I think if you, because we've done these before, if you complete the square and turn it into graphing form, it's a lot easier to get all those other elements. Okay, let's go ahead and see if we can do this. Vamos a hacer este ahora. Okay, same thing. What's the Y-intercept? That's the easiest thing to find. Set the x equal to 0. Vamos a poner la x en 0. Okay, entonces si hago eso, if I do that, this becomes a 0, that becomes a 0, you end up with 33. Okay, so when x is 0, you end up with y equals 33. All right, so what did I do? I took the 0, I put it in here and in here. 16 times 0, 0. 0 squared is 0. 0 times 2 is 0. 0 take away 0 plus 33. Okay, entonces lo que hicimos, metimos el 0. So 33, wow, that's a lot. I'm just going to say, voy a decir que está acá arriba. I'm just going to say it's up here, 33. Okay, now I need to find the vertex. So I'm going to go ahead and change this guy. Lo voy a cambiar a forma gráfica completando el cuadrado. So I'm going to complete the square. So you have the 2x squared, okay, minus 16x. You're going to move the 33. Vamos a mover el 33. But at the same time, you're going to factor out the 2, because remember, you can't complete the square with this 2 in the front, so you have to factor them out. Entonces vamos a factorizar esto. Okay, and if this helps you, factoring is like dividing by 2. Don't worry about the 33. No se preocupen del 33. Okay, that guy's off over here on the right. So what is that going to give me? Well, that's going to give me the whatever's on the 2 on the bottom. Take them out. So now you have x squared minus 8x. Okay, good. So now I can complete the square just with this guy right here. So now we're going to go ahead and add. Okay, what are we going to put in there? Well, we're going to put half of negative 8. Half of negative 8 is negative 4. And we're going to square it. Okay, la mitad de negativo 8 es negativo 4. Y lo vamos a cuadrar. So now we have this part. On the left, okay, we got to add what we did, same thing on the right. So we added negative 4 squared. So it's negative 4 squared. But you see this 2, how it's multiplying everything on the inside. Ven como este 2 está multiplicando todo lo de adentro. También se va a usar. So we're going to use it as well. So that's going to give us, this is going to give us 16 times 2 is 32. Entonces nos va a dar 32 más la y igual a 2. Now this, you can factor it. Eso se puede factorizar. You're going to get x minus 4 squared. And if you don't know how to factor that, just go ahead and look at the other videos. I go over it, just so you can have an understanding of it. So that's plus 33. Okay, now all I do is take the minus 32. Lo resto, subtracting 32. Maybe you guys did that in maybe pre-algebra or 7th grade math. And then you have x minus 4 squared. 33 minus 32 is positive 1. So now this is good because now I know my vertex. My vertex is positive 4 and comma 1. Remember, this guy in the parentheses, you set them equal to 0. Okay, set them equal to 0, igual a 0, and then you solve it. Lo resolvemos, so then this guy comes over here. All right, so that's what we're doing. So now I have my vertex, so 4 comma 1, let's see, 1 2 3, let's say 4 comma 1 right here. Okay, I know it's not to scale, but I'm just doing it as a real quick rough sketch. Okay, so now right here, here's my line of symmetry, mi línea simétrica. So now if I know here we got 1 2 3 4, then over here on the right it's going to be 1 2 3 4 right here. Okay, but your professor, your teacher, is going to ask you also for these x-intercepts. Okay, because they're going to want to know that. Well, how do you find the x-intercepts now that I have this? Well, we're going to set the x equal to 0. Okay, so I'm sorry, set the y equal to 0. Okay, so we're going to use this guy. So here we go, 2 times x minus 4 squared plus 1. Set that equal to 0. Okay, because we're trying to find out the x. So what do you do now? Well, we start doing the math. So we're going to take the 1 to the other side. Vamos a tomar el 1 al otro lado. Se convierte en negativo 1, becomes a negative 1. Okay, so now I have 2 times x minus 4 squared is equal to negative 1. Now what do I do? Ahora divido por 2. Now I divide by 2. Okay, 2 divided by 2 is 1. X minus 4 quantity squared is equal to negative 1/2. All right, so now what do? Well, you're going to take the square root to get rid of that square. Okay, all right here, boom. And what do you notice? Okay, you notice that x minus 4 quantity squared, okay, is equal to negative 1/2. But here's a problem, isn't there? Okay, can we take the square root of a negative? The answer is no. The answer is no. So, what's the answer? No real solution. Okay, no real solution. So, what does that mean? That means that this guy should not cross the x-axis. So there's a problem here, because look at where my vertex is at. See, it's going to cross here. It's going to cross the x-axis. So I got to go back to my work and see, did I do something wrong? Okay. Now, don't worry. This is all on purpose. But this is learning. So you see here? Okay. Here's a question. Move it to the right. Factor out the 2. Half of negative 8 is negative 4. Negative 4 squared. 16. With that 2 is 32. Minus 32 on both sides. That becomes a 1. Okay. And that becomes correct. Oh, and what did I do? Yes. You see, it's supposed to be 4 comma 1. And what did I do? I went down. So it's supposed to be up. Okay, supposed to be up. That's what happens when you go a little too fast. Okay. And that's good. And I noticed, wait a minute. This is no real solution. It should not cross the x-axis. So what happened? You know what? I actually, simple mistake. Instead of going up, I went down. But now, makes more sense right here. Boom. And right here. Okay. And don't be afraid of making mistakes. And you notice how everything should come together, okay? And you notice here, well, it's gotta make sense. When there's no real solution, it should not intersect the x-axis. So wait a minute, something's wrong. So as you're doing these, make sure you're double checking. Oh, it makes sense. It makes sense. And don't be afraid of mistakes, and just go back and do your work. And in this case, it was just a simple error. Okay? Y no se les olvide, todo tiene que coincidir. Entonces, aquí, la raíz del negativo no se puede, entonces quiere decir que no va a pasar por aquí, por el axis de la X. Okay? So, hopefully that helps, guys, and we'll do some more problems next time.